True or false? He starts a game by October 1st.
False.
True. I think he starts the season.
Sanders came out and quoted as saying, "My story is going to be similar to Brady's story. Confident kid, no doubt. Do you love it or hate it?"
Love it. Tom Brady's giving him advice. And Tom Brady gave him the advice as soon as he got picked in the 5th round and said, it's not where you're picked. It's how you finish.
You'd also hope Deion told him, be freaking coachable because you're coming from my freaking school of coaching.
Hate it. Your story is your story. Don't compare yourself to the greatest quarterback of all time. Just be SHEDEUR Sanders.
Bienvenido, good people of the world. The squad is back for another episode. I go by the name of Grandpa Jay, and I got my brothers right here, Mikey and John, with me tonight. Trey Day will not be joining us tonight as the Lakers are actually holding a secret tryout for next season to bolster their roster. Hopes of getting Giannis. And we'll let you know about that next week, so you got to tune in.
But you forgot the tryout's actually in Cancun. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, in Cancun.
It's a golf tournament.
On the banana boat. I
heard it's in some underground bunker because they didn't want any drones or any potential filming.
That makes sense.
Right? So
that makes
hidden facilities. Anyways, gentlemen, we are swiftly moving through the NBA and NHL playoffs, and we're almost halfway through with a lot of the series at 3-1 now. We can say they're mostly decided. But I want to know who you guys think is the most outstanding team so far on the ice or on the floor in basketball. And can that team be stopped from bringing home the trophy this year?
I'll go first. I mean, like the NBA, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton went from the most overrated player to the most dominant player in the playoffs right now, next to Ant-Man. I mean, he's just basically taken over and basically taken that on the chin, voted by the players. Now, mind you, this is voted by the players, not anybody else, not fans. These are actually players. So this hurts even more that he's the most overrated player. So I like the Indiana Pacers. Obviously, Jamie and I were talking about this earlier in our group text, talking about how, you know, the Cavs were pretty much dwindled by injuries, unfortunately. And that's another segment to kind of get into a little bit later. But I got to say Indiana Pacers and, Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, that team looks strong. They look ready to go. They're deep on the bench. If I'm the Knicks or Celtics, depending on who wins that series, because it's still not guaranteed the Knicks are winning, but I would be afraid to go to Indiana. But what a way if we were to have the Indiana-Knicks series.
Bring back that 90s rivalry.
Have Halliburton put on number 30. Put on the number 30.
Special playoff edition jersey.
What if he does it 6 seconds to win the series? Oh, my God.
Hi, Mikey. You're an honorary Indiana Pacers fan in some sort of way. So are you riding with them or a team on the ice?
Yeah, no. So in the NBA side, I definitely agree it's the Pacers because not only was it impressive, despite Cleveland's injuries, just is impressive the way they played as a team, the way Halliburton played in that series, but also looking down the road to that question of can anybody stop them from winning a championship? Well, it might be, if anybody's going to, it might be whoever they play in the finals, because right now you look at the Knicks are poised to knock out Boston. Again, anything can happen in the playoffs, so Boston could come back. Jaylen Brown could prove that he should be the most highly paid player in the league, as he is. But the Celtics, if they don't win, it's the Knicks. And the Knicks, as we said, are notoriously having some issues with taking down the Indiana Pacers in the playoffs. So do those ghosts rear their ugly head? So I agree with that. On the ice side, I looked to the Carolina Hurricanes because they handled New Jersey, they have handled Washington, and they seem to be that team that's like Florida last year, not necessarily the most successful. They were very successful in the regular season, but not the most successful. The Caps were the number 1 seed in the East, but were built to win in the playoffs. And somehow they managed to parlay getting Mikko Rantanen and then trading Mikko Rantanen into a better team where they got guys that fit better than Rantanen ended up did. And now Rantanen fits better in Dallas. So we might see a Dallas-Carolina final, and that would be interesting because either way, I don't know the NHL rules compared to other sports, but it might be that whoever wins, Rantanen gets a ring because he played for the team. I
So
don't know if that's how the NHL
someone's
works.
cheering for Carolina in the playoffs right now.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think the Hurricanes on the ice have been the most impressive team to me.
John, you agree, or are you siding with another NHL team?
The most exciting team right now, it's hard to not go with the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, the way they win games, the way they dominate. I mean, obviously the overtime loss, was kind of dramatic with 0.4 seconds. But seeing Connor McDavid, do what he does on the ice. I mean, he's not having a spectacular year, which is wild because I think he's still finished with over 100 points. Is still doing pretty well in the playoffs. But it's not Connor McDavid type stats. But he's just one of a kind, and he's just putting the team on his back once again. So I like the Oilers. The Stars have been the one team that have stood out to me the most. They just come out, and it's because of their goaltender. Jake Ottinger has, I think, been overlooked over the last 5 or 6 years, and has continued to be overlooked. And he has stood on his head in a lot of these games, even though he's letting a few goals here or there. He's been standing on his head and really kind of being the backbone of this team. And we say it all the time: if you don't have great goaltending, you're going to struggle in the playoffs. And that's what Dallas has: is a great goaltender, a good young team in front of them. They're very dangerous.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Dallas is, I mean, we could say, I guess we could say that's the best sports franchise in Dallas right now, right? Love the crowd. The crowd was going nuts. It's a sea of green. The energy is out of control, just like we said in Winnipeg. They love them some hockey in Dallas. And Mike, you brought it up. Mikko Rantanen is out of his mind right now. 19 points in 11 games. The guy is unstoppable. It kind of looks like he's just playing his game at his will, just skating around anybody. Doesn't care who's out there, first line of defense. It doesn't matter. He's finding a way to get the puck on the net at least. And great game in their last game to really take control of that series. And, I love that. I love to see fans embrace their team to the point where it does feel like home ice at all times. Like even a 2-2, you could tell the energy was so one way. It's like, there's no way that these guys are losing this game. There's just not a chance that the road team's going to come back and do anything. And, we might see another number one seed go down. We saw the Cavs go down. OKC with a squeaker of a win over Denver. So maybe the number one survives in the West. But interesting point where we talked about this idea of, can the Knicks pull it out? Here's what's really weird about Boston. They played better without Tatum in the last 2 years. So now you guys know that stat. Are you willing to take a risk on the Celtics winning 3 in a row?
I mean, you got the team, right? Peyton Pritchard, 6th man of the year. Jaylen Brown, NBA Finals MVP, well-deserving. They have pretty much the rest of their core, and I like their coach. I like Joe Mazzulla. I like his playing. I like his coaching style. I love his interviews. I just like that team, and I think he's developed this next man up mentality where it's like, yeah, the next man up has got to be a big step, but I think they've built the core around where if we miss Tatum, it's a little hiccup, not a massive one, right? Like obviously seeing Tatum go down, honestly made me tear up because the guy works so fucking hard and he does everything he can to put his team on his back and do everything right. Was having a hell of a game. I think he had 42 points when he went out. And to see him go down like that, it just breaks your heart. It's just like, damn, like not again, not another star. So I think the Celtics can pull it off. I think Tibbs runs the team too much, and if Schrader was here, he would probably agree. Tibbs runs the team too much into the ground, where you're relying so heavily on your 5 starters that you're not. You can get worn out pretty easily. Where I think Boston's depth can help overcome that, but it's going to be a tall feat. Brunson's playing at a very, very, very good level right now.
Yeah, you remember that clip when Joe yelled at Tatum when he had the wrist injury? He just goes, "Get up,
get up!"
Can you imagine if somehow some part of him was like, I want to scream it now, but this looks very grimace because he's rolling around the ground in a lot of pain right now. But some part of him was like, fuck it, I want to just scream it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I think he was heartbroken.
No, I think he read into the situation pretty fast.
Jalen Tatum, he says. Jason Tatum does not do that type of stuff usually. So when I saw him go down and he was rolling around, I was like, oh no, that's not good. Like, and it was a non-contact, not good at all. What are your thoughts on NBA guru? Come out of your bottle, your genie. Love the genie. Come out, Jamie, wherever you are. What are your thoughts on the NBA playoffs right now? Who is your team that you are like, damn, they got it?
Minnesota, with beating the Lakers and Ant getting that chip on his shoulder, like, I want to take out the greatest of all time. I want to take out the greatest shooter of all time. Unfortunately, he's not played the series. Like, Ant is ready for every moment. So the next series, I want to take out the MVP because either Joker or SGA, right? So now he has that chip on his shoulder, and then he gets to his first finals, and he's like, I don't care who we play, whatever superstars in my way. I feel like it's a coming of age thing for him, maybe a year or two earlier than I would have thought. So the emergence of this confidence out of Ant-Man is carrying a team to me that's still one player away, but the right teams are out of the playoffs that would match up better against them. So he does have that advantage because it seems like Boston and Cleveland, who would have matched up better. Indiana might be a matchup issue with them because they have the speed and size as well. But I feel like it's Minnesota at this point. And I wouldn't go as far as to say Ant-Man is my most outstanding player. I'm sticking with Miko because I feel like 19 points in 11 games is kind of ridiculous. And he's such a standout player right now for his team. And I love the fact that the guy can get a ring no matter what. Why not? I mean, that makes you outstanding in my books 100%. But here's the thing. I would not write off any of the East teams because both Indiana and New York have this very gritty mentality that only OKC has in the West right now. I think both of the Denver and Minnesota rely on the three a lot. I think OKC can win dirty games. So this is probably the biggest question mark we've had in the NBA in a very long time. As for like, who the hell's going to win this year? Mikey, you haven't answered on the Knickerbocker. I mean, Mikey nodding right there, right? So can your Knickerbockers do the can the Celtics do the improbable and take the Knickerbockers out by winning 3 straight?
If they didn't have to play at least one more game in Madison Square Garden, I would say they absolutely could. I think it would be a lot easier for them. It's just, you talk about how the Dallas Stars fans have embraced their team and are raucous no matter what. This is the hungriest Knicks fans have been allowed to be in a long time because they have a team that can back it up or seemingly can back it up. The Tibbs running the team into the ground thing, that is always a factor when it comes to a Tibbs team. Trey Day has said that a bunch. We've all agreed with him a bunch because we know how Tibbs operates. The thing is, I think that's more of an issue for the Indiana series in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they'll have to work hard to beat this Boston team, but Boston is going to be susceptible. And I think they're experienced enough. Missoula's experienced enough, and the players are experienced enough to maybe not fall into this trap. But they're facing a trap right now, which is put everything on the line in the next game to win one for Jason Tatum, and then you've got nothing left for the game after that. And so that's when I think they can win the next game. I think the Knicks end up taking the series because Boston is without one of their best players, no matter what their success has been without him. And they may continue to run into a buzzsaw of a Knicks team that is hungry to make it back to the conference finals, only to lose to the Pacers in 5, probably.
I can see that. So we're going with Indiana, New York, and in the West, likely looking like Minnesota and OKC, because I don't think OKC has lost 2 in a row all year. But the games have to play. We don't predict anything here. We just stumped during the squad. That's what we're about. Sports knowledge. We don't know the future. But I tell you what we do know is the NFL schedules have come out, gentlemen. And as usual, the NFL finds a way to make themselves relevant.
Go fucking Birds.
No matter what. There we go. Go Birds. Go ahead. Say it again. Get your airtime on it. All right. So schedules are out. The Eagles were supposed to get the most challenging schedule yet. They kicked things off opening night against the Cowgirls. So maybe they get a pivot.
But like, look at the next few games of that. Cowboys.
Before you get there, I'm asking you: are we gonna get a game, or are the Eagles already looking to week 2 in Kansas City? Are they ready to get ahead of this one?
I mean, banner night's always tough because it's a lot of emotions. Ring night's right beforehand. They have the big ceremony before the game, and then they have the ring night beforehand. I don't know. I mean, I can see it being a close game, first game of the year. New offensive scheme since we lost our offensive coordinator, and as well as Dallas. I mean, Dallas is a big unknown. I don't think the whole George Pickens thing is a big move for Dallas. He's not okay. Yeah, you haven't had a quarterback in a few years, but you haven't really proven that you're a great receiver. You're an okay receiver. You're big, and that's great. But so was Chase Claypool. Look what happened when he went to another team. So I just see this game being a real dogfight at the beginning. Of course, I'm going to take my birds at the end because you got to win on banner night. But yeah, I mean, going forward, it's just a gauntlet of a schedule for the Eagles. They just basically really said, you know what, screw them. We're just going to give them the most gauntlet schedule, and then the Giants have the second hardest schedule in the NFL, which is
weird.
Well, it's just because they suck.
Well, but it's not.
What?
Sorry, Mikey. What? I didn't mean it in that manner. Like the Giants are supposed to suck. What I meant was, aren't the defending Super Bowl champs supposed to have the toughest road to get back to the Super Bowl?
Most of the time. I mean, most of the time, usually you would think they would play like the Chiefs. You know, the teams they played in the playoffs. We play the Giants every year.
No. I'm saying you think they would have to play the Chiefs. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, but I mean, I think when it comes down to it, it is what it is. It toughens them up. Our bye week is week 9, which I like, right in the middle. Gets us ready right for another playoff run. So I'm enjoying it. I fucking hate that I got to play the Buccaneers though. I'm in Tampa. God damn it! In Tampa. What in the world, man? Why can't we get away from Tampa?
Start 4-0 with your nemesis on the schedule in week.
I hate Tampa. Like my Eagles chat was asking me, like, who's going to the Tampa game? I was like, I'm not going to Tampa. I hate Tampa Bay, and I hate the Bucs when they play the Eagles. Like it just, I don't under. You have never played. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have never played in Philadelphia. I am sworn by it. I don't care what you say. They have never played in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we have. We've lost in the playoffs because when we used to play there, that's when we were 0 for 100 in games below 40 degrees. We lost to you guys twice in Philadelphia in the playoffs.
But the last 7 years, Jamie, it's been.
Oh, I'm talking way back in the day.
It's been like every year we're in Tampa, and like, okay, yeah, the guys get a break, but it's like, come on, dude, give me a break here. Stop playing Tampa every damn year. I'm tired of it. Like, stop. Go play Carolina, Atlanta, anybody else. Go play someone else. God damn it. Go play the Dolphins.
The Bucs
are you at all concerned that 2 of your last 3 games are Washington?
That is concerning because it could be again another matchup in the playoffs.
That could be for the division, depending on how the rest of the season goes.
Well, that's the next question: is could that decide the division in the last week of the season if Washington? Well, if we don't see the sophomore slump.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is I'm not riding this whole Jaden Daniels big train type of thing right now. It's only year 1. Let's see what he's got for year 2. Now that they have film on him, there's a lot that comes out. I mean, look at Jalen Hurts after his first year. He looked really bad. Now this year he looks really good. So I expect an okay year from Jaden Daniels, but wouldn't be surprised if he has a MVP caliber type year because he's just a phenomenal player.
The team went out and actively helped him to try to not have a sophomore slump. They got him one of the best left tackles, arguably one of the best left tackles in the league, and went and got him another Swiss Army knife receiver in Debo. So they're trying to, I guess, hold off the sophomore slump. The team itself got better. I could see it. The thing is like, I think Washington's going to be good. I think they'll still make the playoffs. It's just going to be a matter of where both teams are at by that point. Because I do think the Eagles are capable of just already having the division in hand by then. Mm-hmm. But Washington's capable of still being in the hunt. So that'll be interesting.
Speaking of being in the hunt, are we going ahead? Are we getting ahead of ourselves here by saying the Giants actually have the second hardest schedule in the NFL? Or on paper, is it truly the second hardest?
I mean,
like according to NFL.com on the NFL Instagram page, it's forget who has the number 1, but it's the Giants number 2, Lions 3, Eagles 4.
The start is definitely
might be the Lions. The Lions have a pretty gauntlet schedule too.
Well, they got to play the NFC North, which is you don't know who's going to win. You don't know what JJ McCarthy's going to be. You don't know what happens with Jordan Love and the Packers. Caleb Williams got better with, more talent around him and the coach that they wanted. It's going to be a gauntlet of a division. I mean, 6 games in there is going to be tough. So, Jamie, what game points out to you the most intriguing game of the season so far?
I hate the Cowgirls, but if they're actually having a good season by that point, when the Thanksgiving game rolls around and Kansas City is sitting right there waiting for them to turn them into a turkey dinner, I'm just waiting to see the Cowboys get exposed on Thanksgiving Day, because we all know what's going to happen after that. It's going to be a downhill trend. Somebody big's going to get hurt. Here we go again. Excuses as why Dallas isn't going to be back in the playoffs. So I'm kind of looking forward to right smack dab right there on Thanksgiving, sitting down and watching them get their ass handed to them by the Chiefs and saying, well, I guess they're pretenders once again. So for my Bucks, though, we got a Monday night slate. Detroit might be coming to town, and I think I'm going to try and find myself at that Monday night game. So the game I'm most excited about, Monday night, Bucks Detroit, be a nice little break, get off the pool deck and go watch a little foosball on a Monday night. Mikey, I'll throw that same question to you.
Yeah, so the game outside of the Giants that stood out most to me, because we talk about games that could have division implications and how tough the NFC North is, Vikings-Lions on Christmas Day, I think, is going to be a really fun game. I think that's going to be a really good time. You get done with all your Christmas stuff, you open presents in the morning, and then all of a sudden, boom, here's potentially 2. And if either of them could win the division, depending on how the season goes, or both, and I think both of them have a lot of potential, especially the Lions, to make the playoffs. So I think that's going to be a good game. Hopefully, JJ is still like everything's healed up and he's playing well by then, because I think the league is a better place with the NFC North being as competitive as it may be this year.
I love Mikey's. It's just gonna be a really fun game. We get
fun presents, game. And then we're all gonna have fun.
And then the kid.
We're having so much fun. All right, so here's the thing. I just looked up the strength of schedule based on index.
Yes.
And based on the win percentage of opponents in 2024, San Francisco would have the easiest schedule based off of that.
Yes. Oh yeah, they gotta balance.
The Giants would have the toughest schedule, followed by the Bears, Lions, Eagles, and Cowboys.
Yes, that's what it was.
I'm not the top 10. We have the Packers, Vikings, Commanders, Ravens, and Steelers. And Kansas City's kind of creeping in there, which kind of makes sense, right? So
right.
Because they're playing the NFC North teams, and like you said, it's a tough division, same way AFC North teams, so they're all kind of stacked up against each other. And AFC East was great, other than one team or two.
So, I mean, on top of that, like, to go off of that, the game that I'm looking at the most is Week 1. I was just talking to Tina about this, and I was kind of having, as she says, an evil laugh about it. And it's the Bills. It's the Bills Ravens. I mean, great matchup, first game of the year. Going to see Lamar go back to Buffalo, where he struggled. Unfortunately, he was part of the reason why they lost the game, because of those fumbles and botched snaps. But I'm interested to see how the Bills come out. I don't know what this Bills team is made of. I don't know what, I love the draft pick they had. That guy out of Kentucky, just an overall team guy. That's a great guy to pick up, but I don't know what this Bills team will come out as, right? Are they going to come out like last year's Bills team, who looked like you couldn't stop them? Or is the loss of receivers, well, not really loss of receivers. I mean, they lost Matt Collins, but is the lack of depth in the receiving core going to hurt them? I like how they went to a run game. They developed a run game. They have a great running back in James Cook. Awesome. They re-signed some linemen. Great. The defense was the biggest question mark. Like, how do they stop teams? They lost a lot of guys. Re-signed, I think, DeMar Hamlin, which was cool. I didn't think he was really going anywhere, to be honest with you. But I'm interested to see how what type of team comes out for this Buffalo Bills team. We kind of know what the Ravens are going to show. They show the same exact team the same year in and year out, right? How are the Bills going to match up against this season? And I think this will be a true test in Week 1.
Mikey, you think Derrick Henry's more acclimatized now? The offense is going to be a little more efficient this year, because they've kind of had a whole season, and now they have the off season to figure out what works best for both players, so they can get the best out of both players?
Not exactly. I think Derrick Henry's just going to keep being Derrick Henry. I think
Mhm.
he is what he is. I mean, they signed him to the 2-year extension. Understandably, he had a good year for them. I think I don't know. I really think they're going to be the exact same. I think they're which for them might be a problem, because if they're the exact same team, you continue to have excessively more film on them. Plus, they weren't successful being that team last year anyway in the long run. Like, so I don't think the Ravens changed at all. And if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward, essentially, in the
But
NFL.
who changed in their division really for them to feel threatened?
Oh, I'm not talking their divisions threatening them. I'm
The
saying
But
Bengals.
that, with
It's the
that being
Bengals.
the case, if they have an easier
Mm,
path this year to the playoffs, there's less attrition by the time they get there, right?
well, you expect that the Bengals aren't going to be as bad as they were. Like that would be
Defensively,
the hope.
what have they
Defensive,
done defensively that makes you think they're not going to be that bad?
I mean, depends on how Shamar Stewart works out.
Yeah,
We'll
a
see.
one player hoping to turn around, giving up 40.7 times.
And they're
in one
still in
season.
contract negotiations with their best defensive player, who they don't want to resign, pretty much.
He's out.
Yep.
He said he's done negotiating with them.
Right, but there's still negotiations going on. I mean, he's not going to be talking; it's the agents. When we talk about them, it's the agents involved in this deal.
Well,
When it comes to that.
I'm just going off of from his comments. It sounds like he doesn't even want his agents talking to them.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's put up the numbers. I don't blame him. I mean, he's put up the
No,
numbers.
no,
He's put up the stats, and then you go sign T. Higgins, who's had a mediocre year last year.
and you
Jamar
draft better
Chase,
players.
Jamar Chase, you re-signed 100%, but
Well, of course.
you let T. Higgins re-sign for the max money when this guy's busting his ass on the defensive side of the ball, leading the league in sacks 2 years in a row. It's like, what else do you want from me? And I don't know. I don't think the Ravens got worse. I don't think they, but I do think they got better. I think they got better defensively. I think they picked up some key picks. I think they had a really good draft. I think honestly, when it looks at this, and I'm not saying I think a lot, and it drives me nuts, but when you look at the draft this year, I think every team decided to go after what they actually needed, and it was really cool to see for the first time in a very long time that you see this. But the one set of games that I'm really happy the NFL did, because I think the way that they've seen it over the last maybe 5 to 10 years is Thanksgiving, where everyone's home watching the game, eating turkey. They finally got it right with these games, and finally the Packers are playing well. You got Dallas and Kansas City, and I don't care if Dallas is good. I just want them to be competitive so we can watch good football because they're always on. Looking at Cincinnati and Baltimore, I'm hoping that Cincinnati is. I hope you guys are wrong about them, and then that's a great divisional matchup. And then on the next day, you have the Eagles playing the Bears, which is sweet. Go Birds! I'm always gonna say that. So go Birds! Go Birds!
Yeah, you
go,
said
birds. Go fucking Birds!
So in honor of trade day, let's talk a little bit about Patrick.
Exactly. That's what your comments are always.
In honor of trade day here, we're gonna give 2 minutes to Patrick, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan, Mahomes. Schedule looks pretty damn tough. First 6 games of the year, right? We know they open in Brazil against the San Diego Chargers. I'll say that forever too. You say go Birds. Then they got the Eagles, Giants, Ravens, Jags, and Lions. It's a tough first 6 games. Last year, they pretty much lost 1 game because they just sat everybody in week 18. Is there any way they come out of those first 6 games unscathed, unbeaten, 6-0?
Well, no, because they're going to lose to the Eagles.
Okay, so they're 5-1?
Yes.
Chargers, they're going to beat the Giants. I think the Ravens are going to take it to them. I think that'll be their first loss. Jaguars are not good defensively enough. The Lions will be a tough matchup. I don't know about that one, to be very honest with you, because I don't know what Lions team's going to come out, right? Did they do everything they could in that last year? And then basically now we know who they are. We have tape on them, those type of things. So looking at that Lions game, I don't know who the Lions are going to come out to be. I hope that they're good because it's fun to see Detroit football be good again, but we don't know what their team is going to be made of. So it could be a tough game, but I mean, Travis Kelce's looking like the best shape of his career, lost 25 pounds, is ready to just take over what could be his final year, which I think everyone needs to ignore all the Taylor Swift stuff and really just take in these moments. I think Trey Day mentions it a lot, is that we don't take in these moments for these players and watch these players, because once they're gone, they're gone. They're not coming back out of retirement like Tom Brady or Michael Jordan. They're retired. So enjoy these games where you get to see Travis Kelce make some ridiculous catch downfield where he's stiff arming guys, taking guys, and stuff like that. So it's going to be a very interesting Chiefs here, but I think that Super Bowl, you embarrassed the best quarterback of all time.
That's why I say that they're
Be a
circling that
redemption.
Eagles game.
They've been circling that Eagles game for a while, but I hope Cooper takes it to the house. Ooh, that's my guy, even though I didn't want him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be very
Never
interesting
forget.
to see where Vegas sets the over-under on wins for the Chiefs this year, because you can't think they're going to go with 14.5. So maybe closer to 12.5 if they want to get a little frisky, maybe 13.5. But hey, guys, go ahead and let us know in the comments who you think is going to have the toughest slate this year, which teams may have it a little too easy in your opinion, and what's the best game on the schedule you're looking forward to over the season. Now, if you guys are a big fan of the show, we used to do something called Rant of the Week, where we kind of just tell you what's on our mind. But Mikey kind of segued and gave us a little knowledge every week, where he just wanted to share what's on his mind. And Mike, you got something you want to share with us this week?
That I do. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to take that to a bit recent NBA news. So for those that didn't see, we put out some posts about it. The Dallas Mavericks improbably won the NBA draft lottery, and they will get the chance to pick Cooper Flagg, who we all know is going number 1 overall. So what people might not know is, going into the lottery, the Bulls and Mavericks had a coin flip for who got the 11th slot going into that lottery before the, picks were made. Mavericks, of course, they won the flip, got the 11th spot, rose up 10 spots to get that number 1 overall pick. Thing is, not the first time that's happened. In 2018, the two of them actually had another coin flip. The Mavs also won that one. For those not familiar with the 2018 NBA draft, that ends up getting Dallas the number 5 pick and Chicago the number 7 pick. Chicago took Wendell Carter Jr. that year, who's a serviceable NBA player, but not a star by any means, as they were probably hoping he would be as a big man. But Dallas, with that number 5 pick, was able to select Trae Young, who allowed them to get Luka Doncic. So conceivably, if that goes the other way, Luka is a bull. Or Trae Young's a bull. So conceivably, if that goes the other way, Luka is a bull.
Wow.
Or Trae Young's a bull.
Yeah, and there's always that argument between the two of them, which flip-flop then. Mikey, great segue into us probably being the last people to talk about this NBA lottery, and a little conspiracy going around. I want to see if you guys buy into it. There's this talk that, oddly, from a pattern standpoint, this is the 3rd time now that a superstar, the year they have left to go to a bigger market, that team ends up getting the number 1 pick. It happened with Anthony Davis, and not just the number 1 pick, but a potential generational player coming in, where Davis hops to LA, and then Pelicans get Zion, thinking he was going to be generational. Now, obviously, everybody knows Cooper Flagg is on the board right here, 1st pick. So before we go into what you would do at the pick, are you guys buying into this conspiracy theory that the NBA rigged this for Dallas? Are you buying into that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's definitely rigged. I mean, if Legault says it's rigged, it's going to be rigged. I mean, he's one of the most secretive people about his life and everything like that, even though it's videotaped all the time. But I mean, he even said it's rigged, and we all know it's rigged. I just wish they would just stop doing this lottery bullshit to get some airtime and just announce who the number 1 pick is, or just do it like the NFL. The one with the worst record gets the 1st pick. It's that easy. It's
Well,
that.
about that. It's the tanking issue, and you stop teams from just doing what Philly tried to do again, right? It's tank, and then hope to get a top 2 pick and trade up.
But it goes back to when we had Tyvon on the show a couple years ago. And he played in the NFL, and the owners and the GM and the assistant coaches and the coaches might want to tank, but the players are all out there playing as hard as they possibly can. The players don't want to tank. No player, and you and I know that as a competitive athlete, I don't give a shit if my coach says take a dive. I'm not taking a dive. That's not my mentality. I'm a competitive guy. I'm going to go and I want to win even if the season's not on the line. So I can't see that being a problem. I can just see it being a problem for the front office, right? But when you look at the NBA lottery system and the MLB lottery, NHL lottery system, it's all a load of crap, in my opinion. Just have the worst team be the first pick and just so on and so forth. Just do it. Like, stop with all this bullshit. Like, it's just really ridiculous. NFL's got it down pat, and usually we're criticizing the NFL until we're blue in the face, but it's all crap. Dallas got the best pick. And then looking at their roster, I was like, I said that they're one player away from a championship, and they're not really one player away.
With the healthy Kyrie, though, and that's going to be a big if, for a lot.
It's a huge move. I mean, it takes a lot of strain off Anthony Davis, who's older. It takes a lot off Blake Lively, who has to play a 4, who's not really a 4. Cooper can play a 3, 4, or 5 for them. And like you said, Kyrie coming back probably mid-season next year could be pretty dangerous if Flag is in full season form.
Yeah, they got to sign someone like a Dennis Schroeder to hold it down until Kyrie gets back or something who can kind of, not have to be the main guy, but he did so well in Detroit this year, and maybe he can hold it down. We'll see with that. Mikey, you buying into this conspiracy theory?
Absolutely. I mean, they sent Luka to LA to make sure that LA had a star after LeBron, and now as payment for that, they get Cooper Flag. And yeah, I think Flag makes sense to them. They do need depth. That's going to be their thing, and they need health. They need a healthy Kyrie. They need a healthy AD. But then you look at the lineup and it's Kyrie, and I don't even know who they would necessarily play at the 2 guard right now, but probably Flag.
Clay?
Huh? I guess Clay's kind of coming off the bench, but you can mix that in anyway. But you could also then play Flag. You could play Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively all together, and you get a massive lineup. But the fact that the only one that really doesn't really have an outside game there is Derek Lively, but you don't need him to be. He's the rim protector. He's the glass cleaner type of player. It's about rebounds and defense for Lively compared to like Davis and Flag. You can let them be the offensive bigs.
So speaking of rim protectors and glass cleaners, and Giannis is actually on the board as well. So as the biggest free agent in probably a decade at this point, given where he is at this point in his career. And we know that every team out there is like, how the hell can we get our hands on a piece of that pie? It seems like maybe Dallas or San Antonio are the only relevant teams that have the pieces for that by giving up the 1 or the 2. What would you guys do with that 1 pick if, and this is a big if you could put together something where Milwaukee was like, yep, we'll do that?
No, because like Giannis is in year 13. When you look at Giannis, he's a great, phenomenal player. Will be a Hall of Famer. Will do everything he can in basketball for Greece after basketball, but he's in year 13, has been dwindling down with injuries. After thinking about him more and more, I wouldn't give away a generational talent in Cooper Flag, who could potentially be a top 5 player in the NBA at some point. I wouldn't give that away. There's no shot. Because, I mean, yeah, you would win a championship right now, and I know I'm the one that's always saying championship or bust, which is true. Championship or bust. But I think if you're the San Antonio Spurs, let's just say you had the number 1 pick, you're pretty much a championship level team right now as it is. With Cooper Flag, you're saying. With Cooper Flag. So I can't see them giving that up. I wouldn't personally. I would do it if I was LA. Like if LA had, because LeBron doesn't work good with rookies. He just doesn't. It never has.
No, he hasn't. Yeah, I think it would. For me, it would depend on the team. Being that it's Dallas, I would 100% take Flag because I just gave up my young superstar. So I'll get my next young superstar. I mean, you look at Kyrie's older, AD's older. So the fact that Flag, can be a top 5 is projected. I think he will be a top 5 NBA player for a good chunk of his career. You restart that timeline as far as your future. And we just talked about how Dallas probably isn't actually 1 piece away. So does it matter if it's Flag versus Giannis? If you're not ready to win with 1 more superstar level piece, then Giannis isn't going to do anything, and you just mortgage your future for the chance that it might. Now, if you're San Antonio, it's slightly different. Now, you could still take Flag, and you've got, I mean, obviously, you're not going to go around Cooper Flag here. But I think they'd be in more of a position, and they are in more of a position with that number 2 pick to go get Giannis because, like I just said, Dallas gave up their young superstar, so they're recouping a young superstar. San Antonio has their young superstar. They have Wemby already. And if you think you can win with Giannis and you're okay giving up, even if you have the one, you're okay with sacrificing not getting another one to get a current one and try to win now and in the next, 2-3 seasons, I think they're in a better position to do that than Dallas might be.
Well, they're going to ask for De'Aaron Fox because right now their concern is Dame Lillard and can he even stay on the court. So that's going to be giving up a young superstar you just got to make that deal and second pick and another first round pick and another second round pick. I mean, it's going to be a king's ransom, and we all know that. And, we'll see if San Antonio does want to part ways, not even knowing what the Fox-Wemby, sort of relationship could be like on the court. As for the conspiracy with me, I'll go with Kyrie, which he just pretty much tweeted 2 rolling faces, laughing out really loud, crying. So, Kyrie, the king of conspiracies, you ask him that question, all he's going to do is laugh at you. Of course it is. And he came to our team. What the hell? Happy point guard right there. Going to be throwing alley-oops up wherever. It's going to be Lob City over there if Kyrie's healthy. He's going to be tossing the ball up from half court. Where he's going to be saying, let it rain in Dallas all year long. So, yeah, I wouldn't pass up on Flag either. I do believe he's a generation talent. You guys know how much I talked him up as a Duke player. It kind of hurt my heart all year. But my eyes and heart was set on this guy, not just being an impact player at Duke, but he had already proven in scrimmages against NBA players for years that he's NBA ready and able. And put him on a team with one of the smartest point guards who doesn't get credit for his basketball IQ. And Anthony Davis, like you said, not having to be that guy all the time, that energy guy, let the rook do the work. I think we might have a match made in heaven here. And I'm kind of happy he might go to a relevant team too. My concern was, is he going to get lost on, Washington's roster and kind of who the hell knows what's going on with him other than a couple of Sports Center highlights. So I'm happy to know that we may see him in the playoffs next year, given if they can get healthy and it does work out in their favor. But the one thing that keeps going through my head here, right? Nobody's really talking about him anymore because Giannis. Is KD going to make a difference on any team? And can we see a team give up a pick for him where that's an automatic difference maker?
5 years ago, yeah, he's definitely. KD now, no. No. The Miami Heat are all in on KD, and I'm like sitting there, why? I mean, I love KD. I think he's a great player, right? He's going to be a Hall of Famer. But why are we going after 37, 38-year-old KD who's had 2, I think, ruptured Achilles, a torn ACL, a lot of shoulder issues. Yeah, I mean, it's just not. I mean, I don't see it as it being to a team like the Lakers or the Warriors, which is ironic. Yes, I think that's a huge move for them. That bolsters their lineup. But a team that's looking for him to be the star and be the guy like he was in 2016 or 15, no, fortunately not. And that is one thing that I see with the NBA that is a problem, is that KD bounced around so much that he should have probably 7 rings, in my opinion. He should have 7, 8 rings with one team. And if he would have just stayed with Golden State, they would have won probably every NBA championship up until this point. That's how dominant they were.
They would have been relevant up until this point for sure every year. Western Conference Finals at worst. Yep.
I don't like the whole fact that guys are moving like chess pieces all the time. They're just moving every single year. You're seeing a guy move. I like this staying with the same team. I'm just old school that way. But I'm also like, I think it makes it better for your legacy to win with one team your entire career. And if you're that great of a player, you'll win with that team regardless. That's the way I see it. A lot of times now they're benefiting their own personal life, which is fine. I mean, look at LeBron. I mean, he moved out to LA for, basketball, but also because of Bronny going to USC. They had an idea that's where he was going. Bryce was most likely going to a West Coast school. His movie career and his media business has taken off, and the best way to do it LA or New York, right? So, no, I don't think KD's going to make an impact on a lot of teams that need a star.
I can't disagree with you there. I feel like if you're talking about 10 years ago, for sure. But what did he do in Phoenix to make them any more relevant? Nothing. They didn't even get a chance to be in the playing game this year. So I don't see how he makes that much of a difference unless, like you said, he rejoins. I think he's more a better fit in Golden State because I don't think he needs to be that defensive presence the Lakers need. Golden State doesn't need that. Golden State start running the score up again like they used to.
Now you put Devin Booker on the trade block. He makes a difference.
Yeah, that's a stud. Mm-hmm.
That makes the trade block. That's like, okay, yeah, now you go after him, right? But not today. But I mean, when we're looking at it, Jamie, like when you're looking at the NBA right now, we were discussing this in our group chat. You know, we're kind of going off a little bit. We'll get to our next segment here in a second. But when looking at the NBA, I want to hear your thoughts. Are you pleased with the NBA and how they've handled these injuries year in and year out, and how late these injuries are happening? Because I feel like they keep ignoring the major issue we're seeing in the playoffs. Star after star after star is getting hurt. So what are your thoughts on that?
So here's the irony, because we debated this so many times. Is the issue the 82 games, or is the issue that maybe they had it right all along and we should have been doing load management long time ago and accepted and embraced that if we want to see the superstars in the playoffs, right? And we could, like, yes, there are many reasons that we said in our debate why we ridicule the idea. If, you know, some guy who can afford one ticket to take his sons or daughters to a game, and, you know, you're SOL because Anthony Davis and LeBron decide to sit that night when he was at the Lakers, then shit, I didn't get my money's worth and I saved up all this money, blah, blah, blah. You know, we speak about that a lot. But it's ironic to think, what else is the solution at this point, right? If you've won 56 games by, you know, game 71, and it's like, okay, we're a lock for a top 2 seed. We're guaranteed to make the conference finals once we stay healthy. What, at that point, like, why should you abide by, no, we have to make sure we're playing our guys and we just have to stick to the standards of basketball and make sure we put a quality product there every game. If not any year, this has proven that maybe that system is more efficient than we thought for this reason, because the NBA playoffs or NHL playoffs or whatever sport you're talking, NFL, are garbage without its superstars. It really turns into, maybe garbage is a little too harsh, but it's garbage in the sense that I feel cheated, and I'm sure everybody else is too, that we may never see Ant-Man versus Steph ever again, ever. And we didn't get to see it, right? That I feel cheated as a sports fan. So it's more along those lines. Maybe I'm just being selfish because I want to see these matchups. I want to see them healthy. So and we said it too. There's no freaking way they're going to do a revenue cut. They're not taking 10 less, you know, home games of revenue off the schedule, or 5 or whatever it is. They're just not going to do that. So the only reality is maybe we just have to buy into this load management thing and not complain about it if we want to see the superstars in the playoffs.
My biggest thing with the entirety of it all is you want to see the best. And I know Trey Days was arguing with me heavily over the last maybe year and a half about NBA playoffs is good. You don't watch the games. You got to watch the games. And I have been watching the games. And there has been really good games. A couple of games I watched were blowouts. Obviously, my Miami Heat got their ass kicked. But I tune in to watch Jalen Brunson play against Jason Tatum. Obviously, I can't control Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles, but you can control 20 less games. Maybe he's there. Okay, and then you look at Ant-Man versus Steph. That, you want to see that matchup. You want to see that grind. You want to see that, and when you don't get that, you feel cheated. Even if the games are good, it's great, but you want to see that head-to-head. Look at all the matchups we used to see, like Kobe and LeBron, or Kobe and Melo. Remember when we saw Kobe and Melo, LA versus Denver? That series was great. I mean, I think LA won 5 games, but it was cool to see Melo and Kobe go at it. 2 superstars at their peak, just going blow for blow on the court, just knocking down threes, getting to the basket, watching Prime Melo do his little turnaround shot that we were always accustomed to at Syracuse, watching Kobe do his thing, go around the legs through the, doing all this stuff. That was what you tuned into. And I think you're getting cheated out when you can't see that in the playoffs. That's why I think hockey's a little bit better, where you're going to get. So let's just say Edmonton and Toronto play. You got Connor McDavid versus Austin Matthews, the American versus a Canadian. Then it becomes country. Then you have that country with it, and it's obviously in Canada, which is ironic. Both play for Canada teams, but you get that rivalry that you're hoping for. That's what makes playoff sports is you build a rivalry inside there, right? Like, so if the Chiefs and the Eagles play each other again this year, we're going to start to consider that a rivalry because they're just going Jalen Hurts versus Patrick Mahomes. You're going back and forth, back and forth. Where, you see a team like San Francisco who just fell off the face of the earth, they may not be back there for a while, right? So you want to see these guys play at a very high level, and it's very sad when you see your star players, especially the star players, because that's what you go to the games for. So, but we can't control the injuries. You want to say one thing?
Well, you brought up a great point because rivalries do make what you would hope to be the playoffs. And you brought up Kobe. Look, the greatest matchups, whether Sacramento or Portland, made it to the Western Conference Finals against LA because they were both that good, despite saying, hey, LA is such a dominant team. Now we know they went on a three-peat run. Their hardest matchup was always the Western Conference Final matchup. It was never in the finals. So we actually got the finals because we knew that was the rivalry in the Western Conference for so many years after year after year after year after year. And that only happened because teams stuck together. So does the idea of rivalry, Mikey, even exist anymore in the NBA?
Not particularly, especially when we've discussed it before. You look at all the things across social media of all these guys hanging out with each other and dapping each other up before and after games and playing together. No, like Jordan wasn't working out with the Pistons in the offseason. Kobe wasn't working out with anybody in the offseason that he was going to have to play against. So, no, rivalries don't exist. And on another note, I wanted to mention something. So, with the whole load management thing and embracing it, you would be right if load management actually worked. It doesn't because Kawhi, Paul George, Joel Embiid, KD, all these guys take all of these games off during the regular season and they still get hurt.
But I think those 4 or 5 players you just mentioned have been in the league for 14 plus years apiece.
Kawhi is notorious.
Yeah,
this has always happened to Embiid.
But Embiid's always been hurt. Always been hurt since he got in the league. He was drafted. Right. He was drafted in the first 4 years was hurt. So I don't think those 4 players are really a good example. The 4 players that we're talking about, Jason Tatum, he plays every single game. LeBron plays every single game. You're looking at guys like that. That's where I see guys like that. The guys that you're seeing every year get hurt. Steph, who's at every game. Those are the guys that will not take the load management because they don't want to and because they want to play every game. They're competitive, fiery inside them. Where Kawhi, Paul George, KD, I don't even think KD has the load management anymore. I think he just gets hurt so goddamn much. And that's his forte. KD's a competitor. Remember, this is the same guy that went to Harlem every single year. Would go play at Rucker Park every single play, all the pickup court games. This guy does not care about load management. He wants to play. He's just hurt. So I think even with Kawhi, Paul George, and Joel Embiid are in their own class of their own when it comes to load management. But you got to talk about guys that are other. I don't think those guys are in the same class. So load management. You have to do the load management with the star players that are unfortunately fiery competitors who will not take the load management.
Right. So there's no point.
So
all right. So no point to load management. Forget that. NBA, good luck trying to get your product to be better next year because we already know Tatum's out for the whole season next year. Kyrie might be out for most of the season next year. Who knows what's going to go on with Steph because we know what happens with hamstrings as you get on in your career. And, he's cuts a lot. He moves a lot. So, we're down those 3 players and we can start to really think about, even though Tatum's included in these young superstars, is the face of the league shifting west entirely with Luka, SJ, and Jokic out there without Tatum in the East? Who's holding it down? Is it Donovan by himself? Is Banchero going to come up and be that, come up player? Look, we're still in the middle of the NBA playoffs now. There is still a lot of excitement. These guys right here are huge hockey fans. So they're going to convince anybody to watch hockey. And real quick on the hockey thing, just one thing here. At this point right here, how worried are Toronto fans?
Very. They've seen this before. They should have been worried last series when they were up 3-1. I think they won 7, didn't they?
No, I think they
Another
won.
one?
They
No,
won
no,
six.
they-
1-6. But still, losing game 5, you get a little bit of pressure. And I think Tina and I were talking about the pressure, which she was asking me, like, what does the pressure mean for Toronto? Why do they keep asking them? And it's like, because they've lost 3-1 before when they were up 3-1. Toronto should be very worried. I mean, you go down to Florida, who's a tough environment at the Amerant Bank Arena. Very tough environment, very rowdy crowd. And you allow this gritty Florida team that reminds me of the old school, like early 2000s Boston Bruin teams who just beat you down and allowed them back in the game. Now, obviously, you still have Austin Matthews playing at a very high level. I mean, Jonathan Tavares is playing like his young self. Take the C away from him. He just is a free bird. So I think Toronto should be really worried. So,
No, it's
Toronto fans, sorry to say, guys, it feels like deja vu because it just might be. And for our sake, hey, we want to see Austin Matthews at least compete to get in the Stanley Cup. So if there's any year I actually keep my mouth shut and not jinx a team, I'm not going to say anything. All right. And we know that Florida dominates hockey as of late. So every other NHL fan is like, forget those damn Floridians, get the damn cup back where it belongs, bring it back to Canada. Maybe we'll see the 2 Canadians teams in there. Maybe we won't. Real quick, guys, before we get into Stump the Squad, love it or hate it. Okay, this week, SHEDEUR Sanders came out and quoted as saying, "My story is going to be similar to Brady's story." Confident kid, no doubt. Do you love it or hate it?
love it. You can't hate confidence, right? SHEDEUR Sanders, one of his good friends is Tom Brady. You can't. The guy has been cocky his entire career. For him to go and be humble at this point, it would be non-Deion Sanders like and non-SHEDEUR Sanders like. He has the bling. He has the big cars. I do say he has humbled up a lot, though. He has come into camp ready to work. I heard some microphone talk between him and his offensive coordinator, and he's like locked in, ready to go. So Tom Brady's giving him advice, and Tom Brady gave him the advice as soon as he got picked in the 5th round and said, "It's not where you're picked. It's how you finish."
You'd also hope Deion told him, be freaking coachable because you're coming from my freaking school of coaching as well.
I don't even think he needed it either. I think Tom sending him that message right after he got drafted and saying it's not where you start, it's where you finish. It gives them all the motivation.
Love it or hate it, Mikey? Love it or hate it?
Hate it.
Hate it. Why?
Hate it. Your story is your story. Don't compare yourself to the greatest quarterback of all time. Just be SHEDEUR Sanders. Like, why you don't? We get it. Your mentor was Tom Brady. We had to hear it a million times going in before the draft, during the draft, after the draft. It's time to buck up and actually just be SHEDEUR Sanders. If that's who you be confident. I'm not saying don't be confident in your ability. You should be. If you're not, then what are you doing? But just be your own story. Don't be the next so-and-so. Be the first you. That's my thing.
True or false? He starts a game by October 1st.
False.
True. I think he starts the season.
Wow. There you have it, guys.
Who's going to
There
start?
you have it, guys.
Flacco.
We're going to go straight into Stump the Squad on that. SHEDEUR will win the quarterback battle
It's
in
time
Cleveland.
to buck up
John
and actually
Sawyer,
just be
you heard it
SHEDEUR
right
Sanders.
here on Single
If that's
Squad.
who you be
You're
confident. I'm not
of
saying
the quarterback
don't
battle in
be
Cleveland.
confident in
There's
your
none other than
ability. You should be.
SHEDEUR.
If you're not, then
All
what
right,
are you
gentlemen, we
doing?
know what time it
But
is. Mikey got the
just
dub last
be
week.
your
It's our
own
favorite
story.
time of the
Don't be the
segment.
next
It's time for
so-and-so.
Stump
Be the first.
The
So, of course,
Ah.
Mikey has bragging rights here, and he's trying to do a little back-to-back. I don't think we've had a
True.
back-to-back.
I think he starts the season.
So the probability is higher for you this week with our trade
Who's
error.
gonna
There you
start?
have it. But guess what?
Flacco.
You're going to start with 0 points.
And
Stump the
by the
squad
way,
on that.
you guys
SHEDEUR
just
will
tuned
win the quarter time. This is
It's
our
time
favorite
to
segment
buck up
ever
and
where we
actually
try and
just
stump
be
each other.
SHEDEUR
Give yourself 2 points if you want
that's
to
who
play
you
along.
be,
You get it
be
right.
confident.
Minus
I'm
2
not
if you
saying
get it wrong.
don't
Like,
be
comment,
confident in
subscribe,
your
and let us know
ability.
if
You
you are
should be. If
smarter
you're
than
not,
the
then what are
squad.
you doing?
So, Mikey,
But-
go ahead and start yourself off at 0 points.
Your own story. Don't
Okay,
be
sounds
the
good.
next
So, guys,
so-and-so.
let's take this to the wrestling ring. Okay.
Lovely.
So, anybody that's seen a little bit of WWE knows that we're on the last run of John Cena. He turned heel, he became a bad guy, and he won the record-setting 17th World Championship. So tell me, how many titles in total has John Cena won in WWE?
Including
20?
Intercontinental. And all the other
Right,
stuff.
right. Including any secondary tag team, world titles, all that. 20, 26, 32, or 35.
Man,
26.
20 to 35.
26.
32. 32.
This week, I have successfully stumped Jamie. It is 26.
Woo, go 26.
Nice one.
44, that's me.
My number in hockey. So
26, yeah, that's true. I should.
All right, Mike, you trying to cool off John, or am I up?
Yes, we're cooling John off.
Alrighty. So Aaron Judge is on pace to hit over 400 this year.
Hell yeah.
When was the last time someone hit 400 in the MLB history? Was it 1950, 1944, 1943, or 1930? Working my way backwards now.
Working his
That
way
confused me a
down.
little bit. So we had 40.
50,
got
40, 50, 44, 43, 31. Or 30. One of the two.
So it's not that answer.
I don't know. Maybe. It may be. Yeah, 30.
50, 43, 41, or 30. Four in there. 1950 after 1950.
Yeah, I gotta go with my gut and say 50.
Well, you guys have bad guts and need to go to the bathroom because you guys are wrong. It is 1943, and it was Josh Gibson of the Homestead Grays.
That's not the MLB.
Is
Yeah.
that no, I said baseball.
Oh shit!
Ah.
Right.
Tricky question.
No, yeah, it says list of Major League Baseball players. Yeah, no, it's
because they
The
integrated the
Negro.
Negro League stats.
yeah, so it's a stat now.
God damn it!
Didn't Miguel Cabrera almost do it one year? Who is it almost hit
Not
400?
400. He hit the Triple Crown, but guys really haven't come close to 400.
Not
The
even
only
close.
person that's probably come close is Tony Glenn.
Well, I think
like
Arise was flirting with
370 around there, maybe.
380, 370, but like Judge is at 412. He's leading every category right now. So
He's gonna win MVP. He's gonna win MVP.
All right, so I am out of the runnings for winning here. John, you're at 2. Mikey, you're at -2. So it's if you get it right or wrong, correct? And I'll have the tiebreaker as well.
I have to get
So,
it around. Yeah.
including this season, how many times have the Pacers and the Knickerbockers combined made the Eastern Conference Finals over the past 50 years? So since 1975, how many times have the Pacers and Knicks combined made the Eastern Conference Finals?
To play each other.
So how many? So take both teams' totals, combine them, and how many times have they made the Eastern Conference Finals in the last?
But not playing each other.
Whether
Not
they
playing
played
each
each other
Not
or
playing
whether they played
not
somebody
playing
else.
each other. Just make the Eastern Conference Finals. 13 times, 14, 15, or 17.
14.
15.
Gentlemen, we have a winner this week, and that would be John Sawyer with the correct answer of 14 times. The Pacers have made it 10 times. The Knicks have only made it 4 in the last 50 years.
Jesus.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Knicks are either like really good or really bad.
So we have a winner this week is John Sawyer with his celebratory dance. Go ahead and do your thing. Swang. That will be where we at right now. Is that win number 3 for you? Win number 2?
So that is win number 2. So the scoreboard reads as such: myself with 4, Grandpa Jay with 3, and now Trey Day and John tied with 2.
Things are
We
tight.
have, what are we, every 25? So we have, it's 161, 14 episodes left. I'm going to take your knees out, Mike. I'm going to take your knees out, Jamie. I can do that. I got the weight behind it.
Yeah, well, you think you can do it.
What the fuck was
that? That's why we avoid going to the
You're
gym with
fighting up
him,
to the
guys.
bottom.
Because randomly he might walk up behind us and we might not have knees anymore. So if he's wondering why I don't go to the gym with him anymore, it's when he makes comments like that. It generally concerns me.
Well, no, that's a Man Campbell thing. We're gonna bite their kneecaps.
Exactly.
Did you see the Vrabel video recently he put out about leadership and coaching?
Yeah, I
It was
love
really
that
cool.
shit. I love that.
Awesome.
Where I was like pushing against. Yeah. He's like, when we push against each other, that's not. But when I walk with him, It was a really powerful, and not a lot of guys understood it. And it was like, okay. And also, I thought it was like, oh, Variable still got it, so don't fuck with me.
Yeah, I thought he was doing that too.
I'm still in the gym. Yeah. And ironically, like that was one of the things I talked to Tina about before we came over here. I was like, watch out for the Patriots contending for that division. I don't believe in their team as a whole, but like I believe in Mike Vrabel. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL, and he's proven it with not a lot of roster in Tennessee. So I could see it.
Tennessee messed up. Let's bottom line. Tennessee.
100%. 100%. So
you don't chase somebody with such high character coming from a championship freaking caliber team like that as a player out of town. You just don't.
Hey fellas, guess what? You know what that means when the NFL schedule gets released and the fact that college football is on its way back? That means Tailgate Crashers is coming back.
Yeah.
Revival. It's on its way back. Make sure everyone tunes into the socials. We are going to bring back Tailgate Crashers, going to tailgates near you. I might be going to an Eagles game for my first time this year. Jamie might be going to Liverpool. Mike, he's going to Northern Ireland. And
this just it. We're on the road. We're taking the plane. We're jet setting too. It's not
just watch out for the Cinco Squad jet. But Jamie, take it away. Close us out.
Yeah, guys. So lots of great sports still to look forward to. Just real quick, guys. Game of the week, or what should we be paying attention to this weekend?
No tune into NBA and NHL playoffs. I mean, they're heating up as much as everyone shits on the NBA. I do have to give them credit. The games have been good, even though there's not the star players that you would hope. We're going to see a lot of young guys in the conference finals potentially. NHL, I mean, the game's been close. I argued with Jamie the other day. They're closer than you think, and they're really competitive games. So if you're not into hockey, this is the time to get into it.
100%. Yeah, no, let's see. When we get back, seeing you next on a full episode, it'll be time for the conference finals. I think both leagues' conference finals will have started by then. And we might be seeing the future of both leagues, honestly, in these conference finals.
Like that one. Saturday, 3 p.m., Chicago Sky against Indiana Fever. The new edition of the Buff Caitlin Clark will be on the hardwood. And ladies and gentlemen, that is must-see TV because I want to see what Caitlin post-gym rat is going to be like this season in the WNBA. So,
I was helping her. I was helping her train with her. I was helping her with.
I knew it because she's on.
Now she can dunk.
Right now. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Another week gone by right here. You guys know we love chopping it up every week. Hopefully we'll have Trey Day back on there soon. We'll let you know how the Cancun Lakers tryout went. You got to tune in Saturday, 3 p.m. Chicago Sky. All you boys, ghouls and goblins out there. The new edition of the Buff Caitlin Clark will be on the hard. That is must-see TV because it's going to be like this season in the WNBA. So,
I was helping her train with her